In this video, we're going to run through the exact strategies that we use to split test pop-ups for our 7- and 8-figure brand partners. This helps them get up to 10% opt-in rates, and most brands either get it wrong by not split testing their pop-ups or just not doing it right. But here's the thing, the pop-up feeds everything else in your email ecosystem. This is your chance to get people actually interested about your brand. And it's your first chance to gain a micro commitment from a potential customer. The better your pop-up opt-in rate is, the better your flow revenue is going to be. The more people you're going to have in your campaigns, and the more you can remove yourself and your reliance on other platforms like Meta and Google Ads. Now, your target should be anywhere between a 4 and 8% opt-in rate, depending on your offer and your industry. Now, we've helped clients go from a sub 2% opt-in rate to up to an 8% opt-in rate following the exact 5-step testing framework that I'm about to show you. But if you have a brand and you just want to skip all the grunt work, there's a link below this video and you can apply to work with us. But for those of you who do want to do it yourself, let's dive in. So there are 5 core variables that we're split testing when we're trying to optimize the pop-up. But just before we dive into the exact things that we test, we need to establish good split testing protocols. Namely, start with one variable. If your split test contains multiple variables, it becomes much more difficult to determine what's working and what's not. We want clarity, not confusion. But you don't just want to test any variable. You want to test the variable that's actually going to have the most meaningful impact and it's going to move the needle the most. So we start with the offer here. This is the first of the 5 variables that we're going to split test, and we found that the offer has the biggest impact on opt-in rates, hands down. Think about it this way. If you have $1 million house you want to sell, and you walk up to 10 different people and offer to sell it to them for $100,000, people are going to find a way to come up with the money even if they don't have the money for it, because the offer is so insanely good. Now, if you had the same house and you walked up to the same people, but you were asking $1 million for it, pretty unlikely that any of them are gonna buy it because you're just selling it at market value. Unless someone really wants it, they're probably not gonna buy it. This is the power of the offer. We want to, as Alex Hormozi says, make an offer so good that people feel stupid saying no. But we've got e-com stores, not houses. Same thing. The offer, i.e. $10 off versus 10% off, or a free gift with purchase versus $10 off, or a percentage off your first subscription versus a giveaway, will have the biggest impact on your pop-up opt-in rates. Now, if you don't want to come up with anything crazy to test, and you have the margin to do it, 10% off is a tried and true offer that works across multiple industries and pretty much every industry we worked in. That said, don't just blindly use 10% off. You need to make sure that it's right for your brand and also for your average order value. For example, if you sell furniture and your AOV is $5,000, 10% off is a huge amount, $500. Maybe you can stomach it, but $400 off from a psychological perspective actually sounds better to consumers and it saves you $100. Inversely, if you sell supplements online and your average order value is only $50, 10% off sounds much better than $5 off. Tailor your offer to your brand and your AOV. Now, if you're right in the middle of the pack, test it. Once you've tested and found a validated offer, the next thing to test is the behavior of the pop-up. The behavior tests that we run typically come down to timing, scroll distance, and targeting. Now, with timing, we usually start by testing out a 60-second versus something like a 20-second delay. And with scroll distance, we usually test out at 20% versus a 60%. Our goal here is just to see what the optimal time for the pop-up to appear is. This is a pretty easy test. Now, the third option is targeting and allows for some really cool testing options. The first test with targeting we typically do is going to be countries. Different offers and different designs may resonate better with different countries more than others. Bonus here, if you really want to level up, segment and customize the language specifically for the country that you're targeting. There's so many different tests that you can run here. The other one we typically include in our tests is just testing showing or not showing on different URLs. Now, I've been talking a lot about pop-ups instead of calling them sign-up forms. Technically, I should probably call them sign-up forms because there's 4 different types of sign-up forms you can test. Pop-ups is actually only one of them. There's pop-ups, full page signup forms, flyouts, or embedded signup forms. Now, embedded signup forms are usually just used at the bottom of the website or the top of the website to capture email addresses there. So we have the other 3 options left. We found that pop-ups do the best 9 out of 10 times here, but you may want to test this, especially on desktop, to see if you can improve your opt-in rates. We'd recommend testing out pop-ups versus flyouts, and there's a slightly different approach here. Pop up in the middle of the screen. It's pretty self-explanatory. While flyouts fly out from the side of the screen. This is typically a pretty short test because 90% of the time, like I said, pop-ups perform better than any other option. Now, the 4th test we do for our clients is going to be the design test. And again, we want to test radically different things here first. Think having an image versus not having an image in the pop-up, CTA color, just the CTA in general, radically different design layouts. The goal here is to systematically test these different factors and determine the best possible combination. Remember, just one variable at a time. You don't want to test radically different things and have 16 different variables. Now, the final thing we test in our pop-ups is the copy. And I'm not talking about the offer here, but the other copy that may be on or around the pop-up. There often isn't a lot here because our goal typically is just to keep the copy short and sweet, and just having the offer can sometimes be enough. So the impact of this test is usually minimal, which is why it's the last one we do. Okay, so before I wrap up, as promised, here's a few general tips to just help you get off on the right track with higher converting pop-ups. Number 1, pop-ups with images usually convert better than pop-ups without images. Number 2, if you want to collect additional data on your pop-up, make sure you have a separate page instead of collecting it all on one opt-in form. This is going to help you collect more emails, phone numbers, or whatever other info you're trying to collect without impacting the email opt-in rate. Number 3, you should create and optimize a pop-up for mobile and for desktop. Number 4, try to collect zero-party data. The optimal number of fields for a pop-up is just 2. If you exceed this, you're going to decrease your opt-in rates. And if you have less than this, you're kind of missing out on the potential of getting some additional zero-party data. Anyways, I hope this video helped. And if it did, please feel free to like and subscribe. And if you do have an e-com brand doing at least $50,000 a month in revenue, and you want to improve your profitability with email marketing and SMS, I'd invite you to apply below. There's a link in the description and you can go ahead and apply there. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.